What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming co-op KIZUNA clash against Gecko Moria, the co-op KIZUNA clash, the very big event that many people have been waiting to play. And I've been seeing a lot of people on my YouTube comment section, a lot of people on the subreddit, people on Twitter, basically complaining about them not being able to create a team. Now, I do subscribe to the whole thing, the fact that, you know, they should have had more time. There should have been more time for players to join a team. I completely agree with that. At the same time, though, it doesn't take long to just go to the website and click auto join or joining a team. I understand that you might not have had enough time to cooperate and talk to other players, but this has been something that's been announced for quite a long time. This has been literally in the newsfeed for over 2 weeks now. So I feel like there was plenty of time for people to preemptively make a team before the announcement of the actual event, because it was actually teased in game. But either way, that's what I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the actual event, the co-op KIZUNA clash versus Gecko Moria. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about each of the variations and kind of giving you guys a bit of a ballpark estimate as to some teams you could potentially create, or just basically giving you guys the gimmicks as to what you should be expecting in this event. Because I know some people were asking about it. They were saying, I can't wait for you to show your teams, but because it is a cooperative event, I'm not going to directly show the teams that I'm using. I'll give you guys a basic hint as to the teams that I'm using, and I'm sure most of you guys would know similar teams that I'd be using. But I'm not going to just show you guys outright what my teams are until the actual event is live. Also, if you want free-to-play teams, they will also be in the video that I release once the event is live. So just make sure that you stay tuned to the channel for that one. So the first half of this event is going to be for 2 days, starting from August 15th. Then there is a 2-day break, and it comes back for a second half of the event. So whatever KIZUNA level that you finish off on August 17th will be what will continue on August 19th. So hopefully you guys understand that. So first of all, let's go over to GameWith. So GameWith is a Japanese website. This is all translated from Google Translate, so it might be some broken English, but I'm going to give you guys all the information that you need. So first of all, this is a breakdown of one of the colors in terms of how much HP the boss has. You can see level 1, it starts off at 5.5 million, which is a lot less than what it normally starts at. Typically it would start at around 7 million, 8 million, something like that. So you can see straight off the bat that, yeah, it is much weaker than normal, and the scaling is a lot less. I believe every single boss will gain 2% of the HP from the previous boss. So you can see here at level 50, well, this is level 52, 15 million. Again, that's actually pretty easy for a KIZUNA clash. Scrolling up to 75 or around that, 76 is nearly 24 million, you know, 25 million-ish. It's, again, pretty straightforward. And then level 100 is not even 40 million, 39 million HP. And then obviously it scales up from there, getting to around 100 million for level 150, right? So that gives you guys a little bit of an insight as to what HP you should be expecting for these bosses. Now, remember, this is global. Things may change, but I would expect the boss levels to be about the same as this. So scrolling down, the first boss variation that you come up against is the quick boss. So if we scroll down real quick to where Moria is, yeah, Moria, this is the quick boss. You can see right there. So on stage 1, there's going to be some cooldown. So slashers, strikers, and free spirit characters will get cooldown, right? So you want to be building a team predominantly of those types. Then on the second floor is going to be with Hogback and Sindri, which have 1 million for Hogback, 700,000 for Sindri, and you can see their damage values there. And they give you a full board of empty orbs, and they lock your orbs for 1 turn, and they recover 500,000 HP for 99 turns, right? And then on turn 3, if you don't kill Hogback, he gives you special rewind. Most bosses have this mechanic, so obviously you want to kill this stage before that happens. And then the final boss stage, which is against Gecko Moria, obviously has a variable amount of HP depending on what boss level you're on. But the preemptive of the quick boss is all slots are changed into badly matching. You will get 5 turns of special bind, 99 turns of normal attacks only, so you can't like do damage with health cuts, you can't bring Bullet for his end of turn damage, Kaido's end of turn damage doesn't work, and 99 turns of a full debuff immunity, so you can't bring a conditional booster, unless if you have like 6+ Usopp, for example. And then after level 73, he actually does an additional thing, which states that your friend captain is going to be binded for 6 turns. So with sockets, it's only 3 turns. So that's what you have to deal with here for this Gecko Moria. Now, as for every other condition here for each of the other turns, it doesn't really matter. But something you do need to know is that if you activate an orb boost, he will remove your beneficial effects and he gives you 10 turns of slot bind. So yeah, pretty annoying to deal with. And any HP reduction will just fully heal himself. So even though normal attacks only is applied, and like hypothetically, if you had Brook as a captain and then you revived with Brook, he would just fully heal. So it doesn't matter with anything regarding HP cuts. And then obviously here, your captain is going to be binded for 6 turns with special bind, right? So getting into the team that I've suggested for the versus quick boss, I do have a friend Nightmare Luffy here. Now the reason for it is that his captain ability is fantastic in this KIZUNA clash, as well as having a special ability of when you use his special, it'll be a 2x attack boost. But then if you hit a certain amount of perfects in the following turn, you actually get an orb boost. Now remember that on this actual boss against Moria, he has the interrupt, where if you use an orb boost, he counteracts it and then gives you slot bind. So you obviously don't want to deal with that. So, you can literally use his special in stage 2, get an orb boost in the following stage, and you don't have to worry about it. And then, after you already have an active orb boost, when you use the special of Luffy Law, obviously, because he applies an orb boost, it won't actually proc the interrupt, because you already have one. So you'll be able to get his dual captain effect, or you can literally use his special in stage 2 as well to get an orb boost, depending on what you want to do. Brook is really good for giving those beneficial orbs as well, so you want to use him before Luffy Law, if you do choose to keep Luffy Law for the final stage. Then you've got the attack boost with the KIZUNA, Zoro, and Sanji. You've got this, what's his face? Hody Jones, who removes bind and special bind, so he's perfect for this. And then you've also got Judge for additional color affinity. Now this does 48 million damage, so if we scroll up to the HP threshold and have a look, 48 million damage is going to be around a level 110-ish. And remember, this does not include support effects. It doesn't include KIZUNA stat boost, because remember, this Nightmare Luffy has double stats, which is not calculated here. So this is going to do even more damage. This is probably going to be dealing, I don't know, like way over 60, 70 million damage, something like that. So it'll be able to last for a pretty long time, this team. So this is a pretty decent team, but of course you don't have to exactly copy this team. There's plenty of teams that you could potentially use for this fight. Just showing you guys some different units that you could use in order to counter all of these preemptive debuffs that will be applied on this Gecko Moria stage. So that's that for the quick variation, which in my opinion is the most difficult of all of these stages, because he's the only one with a really annoying special interrupt, right? So he's very annoying to deal with. Moving on to the next boss though, this is going to be against the Strength Boss. So let me just go ahead and have a look real quick. This should be the Strength Boss. Yes, you can see his red health bar right there. Right, so versus the Strength Boss, the preemptive attack slashes, cerebral, and powerhouse characters will get the special cooldown reduction. So you want to be building a team predominantly of those classes. Second stage, you've got Absalom and Lola. Lola has 700,000 and Absalom has 1 million. And the preemptive, you are target locked for 5 turns. I don't know who to. You're target locked to someone. And then also you will be blinded for 5 turns. This sucks. I hate the blind debuff so much. The enemies also get their own attack boost by 5 turns. And it says deadly rewind by 5 turns. It says after 2 turns. So I guess it's only Absalom. So I guess if you kill Absalom, you can actually stall for as long as you want. I guess. I think that's how it works. I'm not really too sure, but they report it's only after 2 turns. So I guess Absalom is a pretty big target. Make sure he gets taken down. So moving on to the final boss stage, you've got the Gecko Moria. So Mori here, he has a variable amount of HP, of course. Now, he will go ahead and have 5 turns of the damage threshold. So you need someone to remove that. Your chain will be lowered by 5 turns as well. So either bring someone to remove that, or just the best thing to do is to bring a chain locker against this guy. And then he also has the full debuff immunity for 99 turns, or 98 turns. And then after level 74, he has a blue shield defense by 5 turns. So you want someone to remove not only damage threshold, but also the blue shield buff, which there's definitely a character we'll be talking about in a minute that can get that done. Now, he doesn't have any special interrupts or anything, so it's not actually that bad against this guy. This guy's probably one of the easier bosses, I would say. He probably is the easiest boss overall, just in terms of usable units that you can bring. And then this is showing after level 74, he does have the blue shield buff there, which is pretty annoying to deal with. So, getting into a team that I have for you guys versus the strength one. With this team here, we have a pretty crazy team, this team actually does a lot of damage. So we've got Marco as the captain, with Shank's crew as the friend captain. Marco is a pretty old legend. I'd say most people have this guy. If you don't have him, it's not the biggest deal. He's a really good captain now after his super evolution. He's a 4x captain, and he boosts quick and Psy, right? So you can bring Shank's crew as a friend, which is perfect. If you have your own Shank's crew, you can run him if you want for more damage. Bobbin is the big one here, because Bobbin not only removes blue shield, but he also reduces damage threshold, and he reduces rainbow shield if you wanted to reduce that for anything else as well. So he's like one of the best rare recruits in the game. So using him to reduce the threshold at first, and then after level 74, you can use him to reduce the blue shield as well. So he's literally perfect. We've got Douglas Bullet as well. Douglas Bullet is one of the boosted units in this event. He's got double stats. He is a 2x color affinity booster as well. This Kuro Jenga is very, very good. Now the reason for it is because he's got a crewmate effect. You can read it there. His sailor ability reduces blindness by 5 turns. So by having him just on your team, you can resist the blindness, and he is a boosted unit in the Kizuna, which means he gets 2x stats. So he's going to be hitting very, very hard. Now, you don't have to run this guy. Another unit that you could bring is Peckham's. Peckham's obviously isn't boosted in this team, but the good thing about Peckham's is he has a sailor ability. It's not listed here. It's not listed here, but he does have a sailor ability where he resists blindness, which again is very good. And his special ability, when you use it, will actually go ahead and reduce enemies' blue shield defense, which is good. So you can use it after level 74 if you want to. But I think Kuro and Django is going to be lasting for a pretty long time against this guy, because damage is very, very good. Now, Sober Mask is here. You don't have to use Sober Mask. Just replace that spot with any attack booster, right? Sober Mask is a great option because Sober has the ability to launch his special twice in the same turn, which gives you a 2.5 times attack boost. So if we launch it twice, we'll have Shanks' Chain Lock, Marco's Orb Boost, Bullet's Color Affinity, and you can see without any cotton candies or anything else active, 92 million damage. Shanks, Marco, Bullet, and Kuro are all getting 2x stats in this event, and it is not calculated here. So this is going to be doing absurd amounts of damage. So this team will last for a very long time in this Kizuna clash, no problems whatsoever. So having this Bullet, having the Bobbin for utility, an attack booster, Kuro to get rid of blindness, and also being a stat booster, like, you can see how crazy this team is. So this is a very, very good team against that particular fight. Now the final boss is going to be against the Dex variation. Now for this one, red, green, and blue characters all get the cooldown reduction, so it's a lot easier to build a team with this one. Stage 2 is against Kumasi and Perona. Perona has 1 million, Kumasi has 700,000, the ghosts are very, very weak. Preemptive attack, 5 turns of chain lock. You can see right there, 5 turns of chain lock, and it's a very negative chain lock as well, so you want to get rid of that somehow. And then also normal attacks only for 98 turns. Yeah, right there. On turn 2, it looks like special rewind by 5 turns. I don't know why it says on turn 2. Typically, it's usually on turn 3. So I don't know why it's listed turn 2 there. But either way, you want to get rid of this chain lock. That's a very nasty chain lock that you do want to get rid of because it hinders your damage a lot. And then you got the final boss, Gekko Mori, who is Dex, and you've got a Rainbow Shield by 5 turns. And you've also got the, what do you call it? Damage immunity right here, or the debuff immunity. So damage reduction by 5 turns, which is the Rainbow Shield. You have, again, this 98 turns of debuff protector. Your captain effect will be reduced by 5 turns, so it's despair by 5 turns, and it goes down to 2 turns with sockets. And then after level 72, all slots are changed into block orbs, which honestly is a lot easier to deal with, honestly, rather than, you know, going in with a random bunch of orbs or whatever. It's actually a lot easier if the boss gives you like those block orbs, because then you can change block orbs into matching with a bunch of different units. But either way, it is what it is, and he doesn't have any special interrupts, and just showing once again full border block orbs in that situation right there. So, talking about a team for this one versus the Dex boss, this team here, again, uses Nightmare Luffy as a friend captain because he's just a great unit. For this team in particular, remember on stage 2, you have to deal with a negative chain lock, which gets inflicted to your team. So, this carrot's pretty good. Now, you don't want to use her on stage 2. When you get to the final boss stage, you can actually use her special, and it resists 3 turns of negative chain lock, and then she applies a 2.75 chain lock. So that's an option as well. You could potentially use someone like NL as well, Colosseum NL, because his special ability resists or removes 5 turns of chain lock, so you can actually use it on stage 2 to remove it. But remember, if you do that, it means that you need some other unit to give you, like, you know, a chain lock or something else, right? That's just an example. There's plenty of characters you can use. This crocodile removes the rainbow shield on the enemy, so you could literally replace him with whatever you want. Again, you can come to the database right here and filter by like strength unit, and then go by special, and then go by the % damage reduction, and there's a bunch of strength units here that you could have a look at that you could potentially bring. Mondoor's not a terrible choice. The new Brook, of course, is very, very good in this situation. You got to be careful though, because someone like Rob Lucci only reduces the rainbow shield under a certain situation with quick and int characters on your team, so you got to be very careful. Vivi Rebecca, if you build a team around them, that's very, very good, because they reduce it as well, and they give color affinity. So there's a couple of good options that you could look at there. Crocodile's good because he's actually boosted in this event, and I think a lot of people would have summoned for Douglas Bullet on that Sugo Fest that came out, so a lot of people would probably actually have this Croc. He's very, very good. And then this Brook is actually not a bad unit as well, because he gives you color affinity, but he also changes block orbs into matching. So he would just give you a full board of orbs as well as color affinity, right? So you can use him, but before that stage 72, he won't change any orbs because they're not block, right? It only changes block orbs into matching. So someone else you could use is Raid Akainu, who gives your strength characters strength orbs. Something else to know as well is that with Nightmare Luffy, you need to have 1 strength, 1 dex, and 1 quick character in order for his captain ability to work. So that's why I have Luffy and Law set as the quick variation here, so you can run Nightmare Luffy, then the Law version, and then the bunch of, like, the rest of the characters can be just strength, right? So this is just showing you guys an example of how you'd go about building your team against this particular fight. So remember, you've got chain lock on this stage, and then on the final boss stage, you want to remove that rainbow shield, and you are despaired as well. So you need to find some sort of way to get rid of the despair. On this team in particular, it doesn't have a way. You could use the support Rayleigh or support Corazon on Luffy Law to resist that, or you can just bring someone else to reduce despair. Once again, if we need to do that, we've filtered by strength already. Let's filter by despair. Is there a unit that reduces despair and rainbow shield potentially? Let's have a look at that. Well, yeah, this guy obviously is very, very good. So you could do that, or you could filter by and then filter by strength, dex, and quick, and potentially, no, there's no other units that do it, unfortunately. That sucks. Okay, well, it is what it is. But anyways, there are a bunch of units that are despair removers. Potentially you could run a despair remover and a color affinity booster if you wanted to do that as well. A color affinity booster. There's a couple of different options there. None of them are super uber amazing, but there are options available, just depending on what kind of team you are aiming to build, right? So making sure you understand what the gimmicks do is going to help you out a lot, and definitely support effects are going to be useful. Once again, as I said, the support Rayleigh to resist this despair is going to be really, really good. Support effects could be really useful here, like in this example where you get binded for 6 turns. If you're running Luffy and Law on your team, or any other Luffy character, you could have support Halloween Ace, which resists 3 turns of bind, and then with sockets you just completely remove the bind altogether. So that is another really, really good option. So that's very, very good. But of course, this is what I'm aiming to build, and I'm basically just changing 2 characters on this team all the way through until it gets to a point where my team can no longer clear it, and then I would have to change the team up a little bit. But until that point comes, yeah, we're just going to be running double Nightmare Luffy with Brook and Nami, and that's going to be the way that we're going to go about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and kind of comprehend a little more as to what you guys should be expecting for the upcoming KIZUNA clash against Gecko Moria. And as I said, I will be uploading a video once the KIZUNA clash is out with not only my personal teams that I'm using to play it, but also free-to-play teams, so you guys can understand how some free-to-play units could, work and synergize in order to get through the content. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But alright guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.